Okay, so I wanted to make this video and explain to people why a battery goes bad and how to try to restore the battery. It doesn't work all the time, but sometimes you can get a little bit more life out of your battery. You will never restore this battery back to its original charging state, but you can sometimes bring life back into a battery and last for a while. You know, you come to the end of the world scenario or whatever, and you can't buy batteries anymore. This would be something that you could try to bring life back into a battery again. Now, you've probably seen a bunch of YouTube videos where you can desulfonate the battery by putting baking soda into the battery and, bounce it off the ground a few times and, shake it up real good and pour it out, and that'll desulfonate the battery. That's absolutely false. Baking soda will not get the sulfide, the hardened sulfide off of the lead plates inside your battery. That is absolutely 100% false. Now you can use, and I would suggest people use Epsom salt instead of the battery acid. As you can see right here, I've got a brand new thing of battery acid for this battery. But to bring this battery back to life, it is 1,000 times safer to use Epsom salts, which is a very, very good conductor of electricity. Okay, it's not as good as the sulfuric solution that batteries use, but it's 1,000 times safer. These batteries, man, when you're messing with these old batteries, trying to charge them up like this and everything, like this battery's actually warm. I need to let this battery sit and just leave it let it cool off for a day. And this takes a long time to do this, guys. This is not something that you can hurry through. If you're in need of a battery and you got to have it right now, you better go down to the store and buy one, because this is going to take days, weeks to get this thing back to where it'll hold charge enough to be usable on your vehicle. Okay. But as you can see, I've got a couple of wires coming off here, and I've got it hooked to my battery charger. This too is an automatic battery charger, and right now it's charging about 1 amp, maybe an amp and a half. Damn thing, focus. Anyway, it's in between the two. The first number is 2 and the next number is 0. So now that battery charger will charge no matter what. It'll put a charge in this battery if the battery's 100% dead, but it does control the amps, which is good because you don't want this thing overcharging. Overcharging a battery is the worst absolute thing that you can do to the battery, because what happens is these lead plates in here, if they get too hot, they expand too much and they touch each other. And once those plates inside these cells touch each other, it's game over. Throw the battery away. You'll never repair it. It's toast. So if you have a battery that's swole up on the outside, it's all swole up, it's cracking and leaking there, just throw the damn thing away and go buy another one. I mean, I'm sorry, but that battery is more dangerous than it is anything else. Also, don't bounce these batteries off the ground. I see people on YouTube putting not Epsom salt, but the baking soda. They'll make up a huge solution of baking soda, and they'll put it in the battery, and they'll start bouncing it off the ground, trying to shake it up. And don't do that, because what that's going to do is it's going to short the battery out. It's going to cause the plates to touch when they start bending, because remember, it's lead. Lead's very soft. You start bouncing it around, those lead plates in there are going to start moving, and they're going to bend and touch together, and then the battery's absolutely junk. So it's not even a freaking lead weight, because you can't throw it in the ocean without destroying the environment. So you can't even tie your boat off with the damn thing. It's just worthless. So yeah, don't do that. And again, the baking soda, the only thing the baking soda is going to do is it's going to neutralize the acid inside the battery. That's absolutely all it's going to do. It will not get the crust, the sulfide crust, the hard sulfide crust off the plates inside the battery. That is absolutely false. It will desulfide, it will neutralize the acid, but that's all it's going to do. So, but using Epsom salts, if you get a mixture of Epsom salt like this right here is 8 ounces, that battery will hold about 10 ounces of fluid, and I put 3.5 ounces of Epsom salts to 10 ounces of water. That's the solution that I used in this battery recovery. And really the only way to recover a battery, guys, is to stress these plates to get them to start moving. Okay, you got to get these plates to start moving. The way to do that is you stress load the battery or stress load the plates, and you charge it up to as much as it'll hold, and then you decharge the battery, with a heavy load, and that'll cause those plates to start moving in there. And what that'll do is it'll start cracking that sulfide, that hard sulfide buildup that's on those lead plates, and then that'll allow the electrons to start moving more freely in the battery again, because that's how this thing works. The electrons move between these plates and they charge the battery up, and then the lead plates hold that charge. Okay, that's how this thing works. So that's really the only way that I know of that you can really restore battery, is to get in there and do a heavy load discharge on this battery and start making those plates move around by stressing them, by putting a heavy load on them. And so that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to see what kind of level this thing is at. I'm going to put this camera down for just a minute. Sorry about the shaking, guys, but my shoulder's kind of hurting this morning for some reason. So anyway, let me put this camera down for just a second and hook up this meter here so that we can see what the voltage is on it and see what kind of loads, what kind of amps this thing holds. Okay, just give me a second. This is going to be a little bit of a long-winded video because there's so much stuff you got to talk about here. All right, let's see. We can do this without jacking everything up. All right, that one's connected, and this one is connected. All right, I'm trying to do this here. Okay, so as you can see, or if you can see where the needle's going to the right. It's in the red over there, so it's saying that I've got too much charge in this battery. And but what I want to see is what the amps are. The number at the top are the amps, and we don't want this thing to go down more than 9.6 amps. Okay, that's the minimum amount of amp that really a vehicle needs to have. So right now it's showing, what is it, 10, 12, 13 amps. But when I put a load on this thing, it's going to drop. So let's see how far it drops down now. So yeah, we're at 4 amps. And I'm going to hold this for 10 seconds and see how far it goes down. So this thing right now, this battery is no good right now. It's still absolutely not doing anything. It's holding 4 amps, which is good. But it should hold at minimum of 9.6 amps. And you can see back here, I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, you can see a little bit how those coils in there are red. So I'm loading the battery up, and that's what I'm doing here. And so what I'm doing is I'm causing these plates in here to get hot. Okay, and when I'm doing that, these hot swell up. They get bigger and bigger, and it cracks that sulfide buildup on the lead plates in there, and then that allows the electrons to move freely again. And again, this battery will never be what it's supposed to be, and I may not be able to bring it back to life. I'm going to let this thing sit for the rest of the day and cool off. It is warm. It's not hot, but it's probably, I don't know, 100 degrees. It's probably maybe 110 degrees. So again, that's the worst thing you can do to a battery is get it too hot, because then you start causing the plates to do stupid stuff, and they get real easy to bend. So I'm gonna let this thing cool off for a few hours, and then I'll plug it back in again tonight sometime and let it charge again. I'll make up another solution of Epsom salt and water, and make sure this thing has plenty of fluid in it. I got the hiccups for some reason. So that's basically it, guys. That's really the only way that you can rejuvenate your battery. As far as putting chemicals and crap in here, don't do it because it doesn't do anything. You can use, and I suggest you use Epsom salt. Epsom salt is a very good conductor of electricity, and it'll allow you to work this battery and get this battery back into a good condition. And that's what I'll do here. I'll come out here and I'll work this battery and charge it and decharge it until we can get this thing to start hopefully holding enough charge to turn the bike over when we put it back in there. After I get this thing where it's actually holding amperage, then what I'll do is I'll drain out all the Epsom salts in this thing and I'll flush it out with clean water, and then I'll put the sulfuric solution back in the battery. I'll work it again, probably 3 or 4 times, and then I'll put it back in the bike, and we'll see how it does. Again, this is a long process, man. This could take as long as a month, and it might not fix the battery. I might just have to throw it away and buy another. This is a Yasuo battery from Honda. Yasuo, Y-U-A-S-A. Yasuo. I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyway, it's a really good battery. It's about $120, but it's worth trying to work this battery, even it being 8 years old. It's still worth a try, because that box of sulfuric solution is only like $9. So and I've got enough in here to do this battery twice. So I could use the sulfuric solution and then dump it out and then fill it up again. But I don't want to do that because it's super dangerous, guys. This sulfuric solution here is super dangerous. It could blow up. It could cause this battery to blow up. It could pop the top off this battery, just boom, and blow that sulfuric acid out and just get all over you and just eat you up, man. It really could. So that's why I have these connections way down here. I have wires running off the battery, and I have gloves on, safety glasses, and that will lessen the danger to me. And then also using the Epsom salt. So this stuff is no joke, man. This sulfuric solution, man, that's no joke, man. That shit will eat you up. So that's all I got, guys. I just wanted to let everybody know that you can rejuvenate a battery and get some more life out of it. How much life, I don't know. There's no way to tell. I can't say this is going to last for 3 or 4 years. It may only last for a few months. But yeah, this is the proper way to do it, and it could take as long as a month to do this, because I gotta let this battery sit here now for 4, 5, 6 hours, let it cool down enough so that I can put the charger back on it for another 24 hours, charge it back up again, and then get these plates to start moving around enough to allow the electrons to flow freely enough through them again so that they can hold a charge, because that's how it works, guys. Okay, the positive and negative electrons, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get them to move freely between those plates again so that they can hold a charge. Okay, and so this is the proper way to do it. You're going to need the sulfuric solution again. You're going to need Epsom salt. You're going to need a battery charger that will charge whether this thing has any amps in it or not. This one had 4 amps. So this one started with 4 amps. It just wouldn't hold 4 amps. It just, as soon as you put a load on it, just fall off that 4 amps. But it was enough for the big battery charger to read and go ahead and start. Because a lot of these battery chargers, the newer ones, if you hook them up to a dead battery, they're going to say the battery's dead, sorry, throw it away. But if you have an older charger that charges no matter what, then you're good to go. You just hook your battery charger up on it and let it sit for 24 hours, and then you can come back and start working your battery. But that's what you have to do, man. You have to work it like putty. You got to get in there and start moving that sulfide buildup on those plates enough to where the electrons move freely between the plates again. Okay, guys, that's all I got. I hope this video helped people. YouTube is a great place, and it's a horrible place. It's a horrible place for disinformation and information that can do damage to your vehicles and damage to you. You see people using their pow-pows to do crazy stuff on just crazy things on the internet, and then it gives the grabbers ammunition to use against the Second Amendment. So YouTube is a good place.